Hi, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. I have a variety of services that I offer to assist in your awakening journey, and you can find those listed in the description box below. As promised, we are going to be doing the card readings for both the Red Dragon Wavespell and the Red Eastern Castle of Turning, which is a new 52-day cycle that we are beginning as we initiate this next spin of galactic time. And so for those of you who missed the original video where we go over the energies of the Red Dragon Wavespell and the Red Eastern Castle of Turning, you can find that video linked below. And so in this one, we're just jumping right into the cards. We're going to get some guidance for the next 13 days, 12 days actually today, because the Red Dragon Wavespell started yesterday on the 1st of September, and for the next 51 days. So let's start with the Red Dragon Wavespell. Clear. Nope, they're saying Red Eastern Castle of Turning. Okay. Clear. Let's start with the Red Eastern Castle of Turning. So this is the next 51 days. What is this overriding castle? What is the energy of this red castle as we initiate this next spin of galactic time? The former of which we completed on the 31st of August. That was the Green Castle of Enchantment. So now we're initiating, we're beginning. There's a whole new cycle, a whole new spin of galactic time. And so what guidance do we have? What energies do we have? What does Spirit want to share with us? Okay, first card out, and what a surprise, but not really. We have the 6th house. All right, and this is the house that Virgo rules. Routine. And so, yeah, this plays right into Virgo season and all the energies that we talked about with Virgo season. If you guys haven't checked out the Virgo season video, I highly recommend that you do lots of good stuff in that video. But it's all about, so this next 51 days as we move through this Red Eastern Castle of Turning, we're really being urged to care for ourselves, right? To apply all of these Virgo energies, these September energies. And so we really want to establish a routine. We want to establish a ritual. Yeah, a ritual. Something that we do on a daily basis. Something, and they're saying multiple routines. So there's a routine to take care of our spiritual selves, a routine to take care of our mental bodies, a routine to take care of our emotional bodies, a routine to take care of our energetic bodies. We want to establish routines around all of these things. And yes, I know it sounds like a lot, but we are mind, body, and spirit. We have to take into account all aspects of our being. So we're really being asked to look at all aspects of our being. And we're being asked to establish routines that help to care for all those different aspects of the self. We want to understand ourselves as a well-rounded individual. We want to understand how all of these things tie in together and to keep them in balance, because when one of those things falls off, all of a sudden everything else gets thrown off balance as well. And so as much as it may feel overwhelming and like a big ask, we're really being guided to establish routines around all those things. And they don't have to be super complex. They can start out really simple. What's one thing that you can do on a daily basis to take care of your body? What's one thing that you can do on a daily basis to take care of your spirit, to take care of your mind? All right. And some of these things will hit all your bases, right? If we meditate, we're taking care of the spirit and we're taking care of the mind. And it's actually really healing for the body as well. So we're taking care of the body too. And so thinking about those things too, thinking about the ways that you can get multiple birds stoned at once by doing things that hit a lot of these different bases. There are workarounds, and there are ways to maximize the energy. Remember, that's another thing that this energy that we're in with the Virgo season is really good at. It's efficiency. So trying to look at efficiency and what is an efficient use of my time and energy. But we're being asked to start this now as well. And we're also being asked if there's whatever it is that we're wanting to create. Remember, this Red Dragon Wavespell that's beginning this Red Eastern Castle of Turning is all about creation. It's about birthing. It's also about being, right? Being present in the now. And it's about, of course, self-care. So this makes sense. Nourishment. Wow. And then here we go again. It's already started where my mind just, shoo. But yeah, it's about what we're creating. And so what is it that you want to create, and what's a routine that you can establish for yourself that's going to help to facilitate the bringing about of that thing? What is also one thing that you can do, starting out small, remember, so this doesn't feel overwhelming. One thing that you can do that will bring you closer to your goal, that will align you more powerfully with that timeline of your choosing. And start with one thing and then start adding more things in. Once you get the balance with the one or the two things, I say two for those of you who already have a thing or two in place, right? The next thing, you add the next thing, and then you balance it out. And then you add the next thing, and then you balance it out. So that's what we're being asked to do right now. We had the Aries I Am card trying to pop out there. Okay, we have the Sun Spirit card popping out. And we have the first house, the body. Yeah, so there's a lot of energy right now around the body. And this, to me, with the spirit and the body here, feels like this red Eastern castle of turning, a lot of what we're doing is we're bringing the spirit more powerfully into the body. We're anchoring the spirit more powerfully into the body. And that's why the self-care is so important as well, because there is so much that is shifting with these energies, right? As we take in more of our life force energy, as we call more of that energy back in, it requires an adjustment from the body, right? This is the whole idea with this ascension process, why we experience so many physical ascension symptoms, because we are bringing more of our soul light into our bodies, right? And so this has an effect, and that's why we want to be taking really good care with the body and the sixth house here, really good care of the physical body. We want to be grounding that energy too, so we really want to work with the energy of grounding. And the first house is also about identity, right? So there's this energy of stepping more deeply into our soul identity as we move through this red Eastern castle of turning, stepping more into our soul entity and our soul energy, our soul identity, and releasing more of that ego attachment, that ego energy. So we're moving, we're sort of transcending another level of ego as we move through this process, which is really beautiful. And we have the Taurus I Have card on the bottom of the deck. But yeah, I love that. Anchoring more of our light into the body. So really taking care of the body. We want to be hydrating, right? We want to be fueling ourselves appropriately. We want to be getting plenty of rest. We want to be paying attention to what our body needs. And then we have the North Node, Life's Purpose, coming out. So really moving as we anchor more of our soul light into our bodies, as we transcend this next level of ego consciousness, right? Which is like 3D consciousness. We move more deeply into our life's purpose. This is a natural side effect of what we're doing here. And of course, like we said, establishing that routine as well that helps us connect more deeply with our path, that helps us move, cement that timeline in more firmly. So yeah, a lot of energy of us being called to and moving toward our purpose. A lot of powerful, positive, forward evolution that we're going to be experiencing throughout this next 51 days as we begin this new spin of galactic time. So it's really like getting our ducks in a row here. Really getting ourselves situated, it's kind of like getting the lay of the land and the territory and settling in. It's almost like if you moved into a new home and you're settling into the home, you're unpacking things, right? You're organizing things. You're getting them where you want them, where it makes you feel most comfortable. You're taking in the feng shui of the area and the energy, if you will. That's kind of what it's like. It's like our soul. As I'm saying, moving into a new home, I'm thinking of more of our souls like coming in to our bodies, like coming into this new home and sort of making itself at home, making itself comfortable. That's sort of the energy that I'm picking up with this red Eastern castle of turning. And it's really pointing us in a direction towards whatever evolution of our life's purpose we are experiencing right now. Because remember, we say this all the time. Our purpose evolves as we do. So as we enter this next galactic spin, this next leg of our evolution, our purpose is evolving as well. And we're beginning to see that. We're beginning to step more deeply into it. Yeah, it's really interesting too, because you see this guy down here and how he's just glowing. There's so much energy there as far as the energy that we're bringing in. This is a really strange card, honestly. Like, I don't even know what's going on up top here. It's really hard to make out what these images are. Take that in for a second, you guys. See what you feel, what your feeling is from that card. But it's almost like, to me right now on the top here, it looks like energy. It's sort of feeling to me like also outside energies as well. It's sort of like this guy is centered in his heart. And there's this energy up here, which appears almost like, to me, the way I'm looking at it now, it feels almost like a darker energy maybe, or an energy that's trying to, it's really weird that I'm thinking of this, right? Or maybe it's not, right? An energy that's trying to feed off of his life force. And so I'm feeling like during this next 52-day cycle, we want to get our boundaries really firm too. Not just our boundaries with people in our lives and situations, and not just our boundaries with ourselves, and those for some people may take some work. It's almost like it's reminding me of the Devil card in the Tarot a little bit, for some reason right now, right? So setting boundaries with others, setting boundaries with ourselves, right? Anywhere where we've been slipping, where we've been letting our ego run the show, or letting our more three-dimensional characteristics and desires kind of take the wheel. We want to take the wheel back. That's part of what this energy is about too. That's part of what Virgo season energy is about. But it's also protecting our energy from outside influences, shielding our energy, making sure that our energy is strong, and staying in our hearts. You see, he's encased in a heart. So when we are in our hearts, I don't want to say, I guess I will say we're protected. We have strength there. Right? Love is our strength. Love is our armor. So really wear the armor of love and stay shrouded in that love. It's like there's some card in the Keepers of the Light deck that talks about wearing a cloak of wisdom and protection. So pull on your cloak. Sometimes I do it as an actual visualization where I have a cloak. Sometimes it's gold, sometimes it's silver. Color doesn't really matter. It's whatever feels good to you. And I imagine even pulling the hood over my head, and it's like it's shielding me. It's protecting me. There's lots of different visualizations that I do around shielding and protection, but it's really important. It's really important because when we stay centered in love, this is also about staying centered in the path of our choosing. And for many people, most people on this channel, I believe that path will be service to others. That path will be love. So staying centered and aligned with that path and blocking out those frequencies of fear, transmuting and alchemizing those frequencies of fear, which we know are being pumped into the collective right now. We know that that's the alternate timeline that they want us to move down. So staying centered in the timeline that we know is best for us. Yeah, and then we do have the Aries I Am card out on the bottom of the deck. That did try to pop out earlier, so we're going to take it. Yeah. So this is all about us knowing who we are, right? I am. Claiming that I am presence. Right? And what is our I am presence? This is our God presence. This is our sovereign energy as creators, as sparks of source energy. This is the truth of our soul, right? Is the I am. And really utilizing and working with the power of I am, working with the power of I am affirmations might be helpful for people. But stepping into this deeper knowing of who we are. And it's like as we move toward our purpose, we begin to know who we are even more deeply. And as we know who we are even more deeply, we begin to attract our purpose. So it's like a circuit, it's a cycle. One what's the word that I'm looking for here? Enhances the other. One feeds the other. And so it's really stepping into that knowing. And this is the energy of courage too. Aries, what is the goal of Aries energy? It is to develop courage. And so that courage is going to be so important as we move forward. That courage and that knowing and remembering of who we are. Who am I? I am. All right? And then we have the second house owning on the bottom of the deck. So we had the Taurus card on the bottom of the deck and the second house at one point. And so this could be increased stability is what that could be seen as. Increased stability in the material world. And this is how you reach that increased stability, right? A lot of people in this Red Eastern Castle of Turning may be working on increasing their stability, their material stability, their physical security and stability. And I don't know, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything about that. All I will say is that there's going to be a lot of ebbs and flows and shifts and changes as we continue moving forward, regardless of which timeline we choose. And remember, we choose individually, but the collective chooses as well. And all we can do is keep choosing the timeline of love, that beautiful timeline of love and service to others as much as possible, right? And hope and allow that energy to help shift and guide the collective. Just through our own choosing, not by arguing with them, not by trying to get them to see our point of view, simply by being that example and living this new way. But regardless of which timeline we're choosing, there are going to be lots of shifts and changes. And so it's sort of like with this, so the Taurus card said, I have, this card says owning. So it's this attachment energy that we're needing to release. It's this attachment energy, and it's this idea of owning, right? We don't own anything, right? Everything is given to us. And I don't mean that, and when I say that, I mean like everything is given to us by spirit, by source. I have a friend and she says that all the time. And I really like that. It's really beautiful. So it's like for some people, there is an increase in security. For other people, there's an increase in the understanding that the true security comes from in here and everything else is an illusion, and releasing that attachment to the material. Which ironically, when we release our attachment to the material, we tend to bring in more abundance and prosperity. Remember, attachment kills manifestation. Right now I'm thinking of, I believe it's in Fight Club. When Brad Pitt is giving one of his speeches, and he says, the things you own end up owning you. And that's a really profound statement, right? And if we look at our society, so much of our lives has been controlled by this energy of ownership, by this illusion of ownership, right? I have this. I need this. I want this. I need more. There is a group of energy in this world that thinks that they own you. Right? They want you to want to own things because that keeps you on a constant hamster wheel. Right? It's the consumerism. Yeah, I'm really feeling called to watch Fight Club again. That's probably in my top favorite movies. It was a fabulous book too. It's really cool. It's probably one of the only movies I've ever seen that took very much of its dialogue verbatim from the book. Chuck Palahniuk, really, really great, strange author. He writes some really bizarre, slightly twisted books. I used to really enjoy reading him, but I'm feeling that Fight Club energy. The desire to watch that movie coming through right now as we're talking about this. Yeah, that energy, that vibe is coming through strong. So it's like really understanding that. It's this shift in our value system. That's what Spirit's wanting to get across, the shift in our value system. And remember, we have Uranus and Taurus right now. And Uranus is going to be in Taurus for many years to come. Uranus is an erratic mover, but he's not a fast mover. Which is kind of funny, right? Because the energy produced by Uranus can be very fast-paced. But Uranus and Taurus is all about transforming our value system. What has meaning to me? What has value to me? So throughout this Red Eastern Castle of Turning, we're being asked to examine that. We're being asked to ask ourselves those questions. What has meaning to me? What has value to me? And to pursue those things. To align ourselves with those things. To align ourselves with our values, right? To practice integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is when our actions match our truth. When everybody's paying attention, and especially when nobody's paying attention. All right, so that's some powerful energy coming through, you guys. All right, so Spirit, let's get more specific here. Let's talk about this Red Dragon wave spell. Let's talk about the next 12 days now that we have left here. All right, well, I'll go with the Lemuria, Beyond Lemuria, because my hand just naturally touched it while I was looking at the cards, and then we'll see if I want to pull anything else. Red Dragon wave spell. Clear. Guidance for the Red Dragon wave spell for the next 12 days. And if you guys want more specific energies on the Red Dragon wave spell, check out the video that I posted yesterday. I was on a bit of a time crunch, so I wasn't able to get, that's why we're doing the reading right now. But we talked all about the energies of the Red Dragon wave spell. So we're not going to get into those here. We're just getting the guidance. We're just getting the energies that Spirit wants to bring through. Loving compassion. So practicing that loving compassion as we move through the next 12 days. Once again, it's that heart energy. We're really being called to step into that heart energy right now. To see and understand everyone as an extension of us. But that doesn't mean overextending ourselves, right? Then we have Shine Your Light coming out. Card number 44. So this is beautiful. Shine your light. Embody that loving compassion in all that you do. Embody your truth. Like we said, this is integrity when you shine your light. When you stand in the fullness of who you are. We're being asked over these next 12 days to really truly stand in the fullness of who we are and connect with the truth. Connect with the truth within our hearts. And to shine that light out into the world. This is a new spin of galactic time, and it's happening on that this Red Dragon wave spell is initiating. And it's happening on an individual basis, but like we talked about, it's happening on a collective basis too. And so in a lot of ways, like we are sort of choosing this spin of galactic time, which is a 260-day period. We're choosing the trajectory of this spin. So it's kind of like choosing that collective timeline in a sense right now. So the more we can act with loving compassion, the more we can shine our light and be that example and live in our truth, the more impact we're going to have over how this next spin spirals. Yeah, it's like if you see all the light shooting out on both sides of hers, it kind of reminds me of wings, but it also reminds me of timelines and all the different options and choices. So this is very much like the energy of the yellow human tribe, where we share our wisdom and experience in order to help guide, in order to help teach. So it's like, please don't be afraid to shine your light. Act from this place, make choices and decisions from this place of loving compassion. Don't allow other people to convince you to censor yourself, to edit yourself, to water yourself down. Because that's not the energy that's going to change the world. And we have the crystal keys on the bottom of the deck. And I want to take a look real quick here. So we got a 44 and a 22 coming out here. Yeah, this card is also about forgiveness. It's basically this card holds the energy of all the virtues. Right? Grace, compassion, tolerance, empathy, benevolence, unconditional love. This is like the Christ consciousness card right here. All right, so really embodying, stepping into that Christ consciousness and shining that light from within. Loving compassion is a fundamental element in the balance of life. It holds the seeds of the new paradigm of evolution. When doing hands-on healing, this is the force we call on. It is life force energy or God essence, and it brings healing, vitality, and transformation to everything it touches. When we manifest or affirm something into the world from a place of love, the reasoning imbued in the statement will reflect our intent. If we manifest from fear, our journey will bring all the learning needed to guide us back to love. Oh, that's beautiful. Unconditional love transcends duality. It sees beyond reasoning and situation to allow new stories to be told and for new beginnings to emerge. I love that. It sees beyond reasoning and situation. And is that not what we're being asked to do right now? Right? The story, the reasoning, quote, quote, the situation that we're viewing, that we're being shown, that's being reflected back to us by the media, by so many of these outlets, right, is completely different from the reality that we hold in here. And the more strongly we can commit to this and connect to this and channel this reality, that other reality has no choice but to shift as well. And this is really powerful because, and I will be getting that 9/9 portal video out. If I don't get it out later today, within the next few days. And you guys can check out the video on Empath Uprising that I did for the 9/9 portal with Pete. We had some great stuff come through in that. But we are completing the old paradigm of separation and moving into this paradigm of unity. Right? So this coincides so well with the energies that we're going to be experiencing. And the 9/9 portal is part of this Red Dragon Wavespell. So in that video on Empath Uprising, I talk about how the hologram of the 3D is still going to be present, but we're really closing out that energy. We're completing that cycle. So yes, we're talking about unconditional love. How it allows new stories to be told and new beginnings to emerge. It transmutes all that is out of balance back to 0 point and bridges heaven and earth. And this 0 point energy is huge. This is the energy. When we reach this 0 point energy, that's when we move fully into the 5th dimension. When our consciousness unites there. And that 0 point is that point of complete presence. Yeah. Okay, so what were we actually looking for? There was stuff there that we were meant to read. That's why I came upon that. So the Crystal Keys card on the bottom of the deck here is all about hidden wisdom codes, potent information, Lemurian seed crystals, seeing your triggers as a gift, awareness of drama creating patterns, healing the earth by looking at your inner environment, and healing through awareness. So that's powerful right there. So this is energy that we're invited to step into and embrace during this Red Dragon wave spell. Working with Lemurian quartz. Lemurian quartz is really cool because you can see the striations on the side of the quartz that are the encoded information. The information that the Lemurians encoded within the crystal. And you can access that information simply by stroking the striations. Just running your finger along them and meditating with them. They're so powerful. Yeah, so this is also something that we talked about in the Virgo season video, I believe. It's this energy of the service that we do when we heal ourselves. And we talk all the time about how until we're aware of something, we can't shift it, right? So allowing things to come into our awareness, and remember, that Lionsgate portal really brought a lot into our awareness. So now it's working with all of that. And the continued awareness that comes through. We talked about this as we had all of our personal planets coming into opposition with Neptune conjunct Pallas retrograde. How it's a lot of awareness coming through there too. Just all of this awareness that's bringing to light the things that are ready to be healed so that we can heal them. Noticing, paying attention to when we are triggered. What is that teaching us? If we have a reaction to something, that means there's something within us that wants to be healed. That's coming to the surface, that's coming to light. And then once again, this is an example of us being an example. When we do this, when we bring it internal, when we have a reaction and then instead of projecting that energy outward, we go inward and look at why and do the healing work around that, people notice and pay attention to that. And we're teaching them. We're teaching them the importance of this, and we're showing them how it works. Right? It's really, really important that we do this and that we allow other people to see and understand what we're doing if they so choose. All right, and so for a lot of us, anywhere where there is drama existing in our lives during this Red Dragon wave spell as well, that's going to be brought to our awareness so that we can understand the part that we play in that process. Right, so that we can understand our own personal patterns better and then shift them from that place of awareness. And there's also just going to be potent light codes and information coming in throughout this Red Dragon wave spell. Remember, the Red Dragon, the first day of this wave spell, September 1st, was a galactic activation portal. And I'm going to take a look here and see how many other galactic activation portals we have during this wave spell. That was the only one. That was the only one. So that really kicked this off. The yellow cosmic sun on the 31st, that was a galactic activation portal as well. So it opens with a galactic activation portal, but then, of course, we have the 9-9 portal energy partway through that wave spell. So, yeah, a lot of keys and codes, wisdom, ancient wisdom coming through. And I read something, the other day that I found really interesting, that I resonated with very strongly. And this was the energy or the idea that we are healing right now karmic energies surrounding the misuse of our energy in other lifetimes, specifically in Lemuria, Atlantis, also on Mars and Maldek. Some of these other, and for some of us other places, like I've had an intuition for myself that there were energies like that having to do with Orion for me. I do believe that my soul spent a lot of time in Orion. So yeah, we're healing a lot of that energy of those misuses of energy in past lifetimes, both for ourselves and for the collective consciousness. So there's a lot of powerful energies being healed right now, but there's also a lot of powerful wisdom coming in. There's a lot of activating energy. And all of this activation is to assist in this process of us bringing more soul light into our bodies, into this physical incarnation. But why are we bringing this soul light into this physical incarnation? So that we can use it, right? It's we call them gifts because they were given to us, right? They all come from Creator. They all come from Source Energy. And yes, we are Source Energy, right? But at the same time, like in this incarnation, as we're receiving the activation of these gifts, the point is to use them for the betterment of the whole. This is that energy where in the past, when we're talking about misuse of energies in this context would refer, and this is my own personal perspective and just what's coming through, so I'll put a caveat out there. It is necessary in order for the game to play out, in order for the experience of duality has to exist, and so there had to be people who chose service to self as well as service to others, just to keep it interesting, I guess, just to keep the balance of the light and dark, as long as we needed the duality paradigm, right? But those choices of service when we chose service to self and we did harm. So really releasing and healing some of those energies. And now getting the choice again, and what are you choosing? Right? As these gifts come online again, we get that choice all over again. How are you going to use your energy this time around? Because something interesting that I read in the raw material, which is a really interesting read for any of you who are intrigued, in the raw material where this group of researchers contacted this group consciousness that called themselves Raw, they talked about how those who choose service to self, eventually that path only goes so far. And the longing and the yearning to reunite with Source becomes so strong that in order to continue evolution, to continue evolving, beings have to start all over again. Because the only true path back to Source is service to others. The only true path back to Source is love, because Source is love. And so eventually, I remember reading that and being like, wow, that sounds like a giant waste of time. And I mean, there is no such thing as wasted time, right? It's all experience and learning and growth. And time really is a figment of the imagination anyway. It's not really real. But you guys know what I mean. Like, ultimately, so it's like, what do we want to choose? Or do we want to reconnect with Source? Right? Do we want that experience? Do we want to make a different choice for those of us who are healing this choice, either for ourselves personally or for the collective? As these gifts and abilities come online, as we reconnect to more of our power and more of our energy, how do we want to use that? What's the choice that we want to make now? And so there's a lot of that energy at play here too. And so much, it's like beautiful light language and all these bubbles coming down to her. So much wisdom that we're receiving, possibly memories for some people. Memories of some of these lifetimes. And we've got these beautiful fish here too, which reminds me of the Pisces fish. But it's also the energy of multiplying, I'm feeling. You can really enhance the wisdom and the knowledge that's coming through work with crystals during this cycle too, especially Lemurian quartz. Especially if you're trying to connect to some of your Lemurian roots and heritage. Really cool. Really cool. All right, and then on the bottom of the deck, surrender. Enough said, right? All right, I love you guys. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know how this resonated for you, how you're feeling about this next 13 days or 12 days, as it were, these next 51 days that we have coming up. You guys know I love hearing from you and connecting with you. You are so beautiful. There are links down below to donate if you feel so moved to do so. And my email is down below as well with a list of the different services that I offer. If you guys want any one-on-one assistance moving through any of these energies, I am always available. It is my honor and my privilege to assist you in that way. And I will talk to you all very soon.